Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadigurum. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We salute Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the demon Kamsa and Chanura, the darling of the mother Jasoda, and the Lord of the world and Guru of the world. We salute him again and again. So here, on the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna was depressed, and because of that he was not willing to face the challenges of life imposed by his cousins. So he was giving sufficient argument to say this war is not good, killing of people is not good, it should not be done. And here we find that Sri Krishna, this is our life's difficult situation. We now and then face this situation. It is so many problems come in so many ways. It appears that I am unable to do, just fly away. Just live. I don't want this. But actually that is not the way to conquer. To conquer life is the way to face the challenge and hold on to the truth ultimate. So that was the lesson what Bhagavad Gita gives. Not to run away from the problem, let the brute, Swamiji's beautiful words, face the brutes, or face the brute, whatever. That means this brute is our life's challenges. It is sometimes it is impossible, it appears, I cannot handle it, I cannot do it anymore, I will die, I will be destroyed. But no, that is the Vedanta beings here. You have the everything potential, so you can conquer. It is life is to conquer, not to accept the defeat. But we are ordinary human beings, we have our weak points. But this inspiration, this is Gita, Bhagavad Gita is the story of everyone's life. Our life is being depicted here. We are facing challenges, facing troubles, and we are surrounded by people who may not be that Duryodhana, how many? Hundreds of them. Duryodhana, Dushasana, and all those. That means Dushasana. Very difficult to control them. Duryodhana. So in war front, he fights wrongly. He will always take advantage of the situation, and so people will be around that. But holding on to God, holding on to truth, one should have to fight out to conquer life. So that is the thing. That's why Sri Krishna started giving this advice that, this body is temporary, body comes and goes. As we always say in Vedanta, things come and go, but I remain, Atman remains, Atman alone abides. No? These are the message of the Vedanta. So actually this high dose of medicine, strong medicine was given by Bhagavan Krishna to Arjuna at that critical point. And he says that this life is like that, as the indweller in the body experiences. Who experiences childhood, youth and old age in the body? And the same indweller experienced the passing of this physical body. That was in 13th verse. And the whole universe, the contact of the senses. You are being affected when? Your senses touch the objects of the senses. And the mind connected with that. If the mind is not connected, things are happening. You are not feeling the pain and suffering or any reaction or action. When severe surgery is going on, mind is disconnected. Everything is going on through the body, but no one feels any pain. So this, understand, it is the contact of the matra sparsha, the sense objects and the senses and the mind. Sukha dukkha, all your happening, all your pleasure, all your pain. Be realistic, try to understand this. This is very, you see how eternal is the message. It's given when thousands of years past. As if he's talking to us today. How many things have changed? Science has developed, this technology has gone so far, and your all privacy is gone. Wherever you go, if they can locate you, they can find you, they can do everything, no? Even how many times you slept, and how many your sleep was up. Now with the CPAP machine can record and tell you. And doctor can know when did you sleep, what time your sleep was broken. No? So, but this eternal principle, there is no change in it. Matra sparshasta kaunteo. Sukha dukkha. You are talking about sukha. There is nothing sukha, there is nothing dukkha. Unless your mind reads it like that. It is that so here come, that you are not the mind. So don't bother about that. So it's a very profound teaching, Gita's teaching. That's why Holy Ramakrishna says it cannot be deleted anywhere. Gita Katha, the words of the Bhagavad Gita, cannot be deleted a little bit here. And this, therefore, why are you so upset? Agama apayino. The happiness will come, happiness will go away. Trouble will come, trouble will go away. Look at your life, how many times it came and how many odd situations we faced, as if we are going to die at that point. But still we are here. So understand the philosophy because of your mind, because of your contact of the senses and the sense organs and the sense objects. This touch is called matra. Matra and sparsha. Sparsha means the touch. Touch with this matra, with the sense objects and senses. That is the agama paino. You know, endure that. Tan titikshasya. Therefore understanding this, just endure. It will pass. I will win. I will remain. And who gets the immortality? And the verse 15 we read. Who is not bothered by bad entity? Young no hieta, that man is fitted for immortality, whom these have pleasure and pain, suffering and joy, does not torment, and who is balanced in pain and pleasure and in steadfast in all conditions. And then we read that this Avinashi tutad vidhi. You know everything what you see, it is Avinashi, the Atman is the Avinashi, without vinasha, destruction. It is the eternal, immortal. That is the Atman, is the immortal, by which everything is permeated. Everything in the cosmos you see, permeated by that divine. That is immortal, Avinashi. Vinasham, how one can destroy which is immortal, which is timeless, which is eternal. So destruction of the immutable is impossible. So no one can destroy us, our real I, real personality. This apparent personality was not here. Suppose I am born in certain year. Before that, this personality who is talking now, it was not here. So it will not be here one day. So why are you so worried about that? It's a very simple formula. If it was there, it is deformed in another way. Okay, why it is happening? But it was not, no presence. It was not at all in existence. And it has come and it is happening. Now he is talking, feeling excitement, anxieties, worries, tension. It will die one day. So what about what you are worried about? You should not worry about this body then. And neither you should worry about the Atman, which remains all the time undisturbed. From both argument on both sides, see how logical. If you think that you are the body, mind, emotion and all this contact of the senses and this is creating sukha, happiness, misery, pleasure, pain, I understand. But as it was not before certain year in the CE, Christian era, and it will not be here after some year. It is sure. So why are you bothered about this intermediate period of its existence? And that, so you should not bother about this. And you are not to bother about your Atman because it is already there all the time there. You are not losing any time anywhere. So these are the beautiful argument, as also it is thought-provoking. Day to day we can apply that. We all face challenges every day, no? And we sometimes feel that we are really, I am the horrible person pursuing, going through this. But just if we can tune our mind at least once or twice a day with any of these thoughts. Antabantu ime deha. These deha, these bodies, have an end. Nitya sakta sharirina. He who owns this body, sariri, he is nitya, he is eternal. Anasi, it cannot be destroyed. Aprameo, it cannot be measured. Therefore fight. So long you are here, fight. So it is not with arrow and bow and arrow, not with gun and sword, but with our daily struggle. Fight with the struggle and win over, conquer, because you are eternal. That will not be lost. 19th verse also we read, and he who knows that why, because he is in the war, so you think that someone is killing someone and someone is being killed, then both of them, they do not know the truth. That the Atman, the self, cannot be destroyed, cannot be cut. That which is composed, it will decompose. This body is a composition of 5 elements. Air, water, fire, space, and what is that? Air, water, fire, ether. Ether is the space. Anyhow, earth element, air element, fire element, tarpore smell, gandha, the fragrance or smell, and the space. So it is a combination of this, which is a combination, it will decompose. It's a very natural thing. Which is not composed, it will remain the same. So on this ground, they understand, na jayati mriyati va kadachit. The Atman is neither born nor does it die. And kaschit na ayang bhutva abhavita. This body was not there, it became and it disappeared. Atman cannot be like that, because it is the eternal substance. Therefore, this ajo is never born, so no question of death. It is nitya, it is not in the time, clicking of the time. What is created in the time zone, it has its birth and death, decay and growth and all this. But because it is not there, time has no access there. That's why it's called the Kala, Mahakala. Time, relative time is this time in which a clicking of the clock is going on. And that's the eternal time. That's the Shiva. Shiva is called Mahakala. There is it is called the 12 Jyotirlingas. 12 Shiva temples in it's called they are, no one has established them. They are eternally there. And that one is Mahakala. That Mahakala is the great time. Eternally is there. Before creation, after creation, it will be there like that concept. It is Purana and no one can destroy that. 21st verse we will read today. This is the 20th verse last, that the Atman is neither born nor dies. Coming into being, once it came into being, it's never that it's ceasing to do and do not take place on it. And ceasing to be do not take place in it. That means once it will be absent, it cannot happen. And what is this characteristic of the Atman we are talking about? That is unborn, ajo, nityaha, eternal, shashvato. It is constant and it is the Purana. Purana means ancient. Ancient but ever new. Ancient things, youth and old age is not the same. Because we see how our wrinkles coming and this and that in our age. How the youthful people are having smooth skin and this and that. So these are changes. But this is happening in the body, in the changeful reality. But in the eternal, it is Purana, it is old, but as fresh as new. That's the uniqueness of Atman. It is old, oldest, at the same time newest. It is new at the same time old. So, it is not killed when the body is slain. Now, verse number 21 on page 140. 140. Veda vinashinam nityam, Veda vinashinam nityam, yayenam ajam abbayam, yayenam ajam abbayam, kathang sa purusha partha, kathang sa purusha partha, kanghatayati hantikam, kanghatayati hantikam. Veda, no. What you know, you should know. That abhinashinam nityam, ja enam ajamabbayam, that abhinashi is who cannot be vinas. Vinas means destruction. Who is indestructible. Who is all the time there, eternal. Ja enam vetti, he who knows this Atman cannot be destroyed. And it is understood that it is constantly there. It is all the time it is there. And it knows ajam, it is birthless, abbayam, inexhaustible. And if that is the nature of our self, Purusha, Partha, oh Partha, oh Arjuna, kam ghatayati, who will kill whom? God killing God. In that sense, if you at all say that some action is going on, it is action is going on, the same reality playing. That's why it's called the play. In another sense, it is called, it is a divine play going on. This is divine play. This interaction between you and me, this seeing each other, even with anger, with your frustration, this is a divine play going on. Like a natok, it's called in a movie or in a play, people take different roles, but they are all friends. Similarly, this is the Atman playing with the Atman. It's for fun. But because problem comes when my ego gets into it, then I am trouble. But who are you? You have no existence. If you say you are Atman, then you have no existence of this suffering and pain. If you say you are the body, this body, which body you are talking about? Today's body or yesterday's body or 80s body or 1990s body? Or you will talk about 23's body. Which body you are talking about? There is no such body at all. It is a momentary body, this moment's body. And that is flickering. By the time we think of this body is getting changed. So, in both the sides, if we look, argument, if we keep our argument understanding clear, we have nothing to worry about. Because, but we worry, that's our nature. But it is actually, this Atman interacting with the Atman. If you say interaction, if you believe that this is true. Ajatovada, if you go, non-creation theory, then it's not even dream. Dream like truth. It is a dream, daydream. And Ajato, it is not created. These people are in a very high level of understanding. But for us, it is there. That's why Ramakrishna said it's a lila. It's God's play going on. Then he says, God's play, but it is our suffering. No? When someone questioned Ramakrishna that it's God's play, though, but it's our suffering, we are suffering. Then Ramakrishna said, who are you? Who are you? Where do you come from? You have no existence at all. If it is God's play, God is everything. So, this is therefore he who cognizes the Atman. This is a question of cognizing. That's a very important point. Veda avinashinam. It is to know. Knowing has deeper depth of understanding. It is not only seeing. It is not reading only. It is not intellectually grasping something. But it is realizing. So, Veda, if one knows, one experiences, that will be the best. If not, at least intellectually understand, that is the next best. And listening again and again, the momentary conception comes. Yes, it is not permanent. this suffering and pain, it is because of the mind and the senses and the sense objects. It's a combination of all these. I am no way connected with it. As we take in the eternal stand, Atman stand, or even if we take the body-mind stand, this has no existence because it changes every flickering of the time, flickering of the moments, changes and it changes. Therefore, how can he slay, O Partho, or cause another to slay? But it is a war. It is historically said that the India was depleted, with the young people of whole of India was destroyed, no? Fighting on the both sides of the war, no? Either in the Kuru side or the Pandu side. But still, it says, who is slaying whom? Oh, this is all dream. This is all God's play going on. Nothing dead. No one dead. But it's easy to accept this idea. That's why Vedanta is easy to say, but difficult to apply in life. But everywhere application is difficult, but we will have to apply. This is one type of medicine. As I say, in our Vedanta, Ramakrishna Vedanta, we carry 4 weapons to protect ourselves. Jnana, Karma, Yoga, Bhakti. This is the Jnana weapon. Sometimes use this weapon. Sometimes Bhakti weapon. Oh Lord, I cannot do anything. Please help me, help me. That is good. Sometimes you do Karma weapon. I cannot meditate, I cannot think all the time. So whatever is doing, I am doing for you, Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. So why we should be one-sided? So therefore, the Jnana, Karma and Yoga and Bhakti, all these methods to be applied and to feel that I am untouched by all these things. How we can apply every day, that should be our effort. Here, Atman is actionless. The knower of Atman is free from egoism. Yeah, that is the point. Knower of Atman is ego, free from ego. We have our ego. Or in the Bhakti school also, ego should be destroyed. Ami mole ghuchibe janjal. Ramakrishna said, all this rubbish will be wiped out from our life when this ego, this rascal ego, is gone from our life. But it does not go easily. You cut in one, given the example of the tree, you cut one branch, ego goes in another way. You cut that side, it builds up again. That's where either you say, I am nothing, like a devotee, or you say, I am everything. In between what is, that is not me. So that's Swamiji's idea. Either take this side or that side. Either you say you are nothing in the universe, you are not even a grain of sand in the cosmic reality, cosmic existence. You look at the stars and galaxies and the earth and everything, in comparison, our existence is meaningless, have no position at all. If you think that way, then say, I am nothing, O Lord, you are everything. And in other side, I am everything. Stars and galaxies are only my little expression. That is the Atman concept. So, I think, use this instrument, whenever applicable, which mood will help us to face the challenge and think about this. So the knower of Atman is free from egotism. Therefore, the feeling of agency is not in him. So karma, we say karma stains. Karma stains whom? Who has ego sense. The example is that if someone, a baby does something, if it is not up to certain age, if they do something, even they mistakenly click something, a gun, a fire starts, no one puts the baby to jail. Where goes their karma then? He is not doing karma. Karma we do because our ego is there. It is called karma so long we have our ego at the back. But the child has no ego. We are talking about the madman. If the person who has lost his brain, if he does something totally, even if he does, and he goes to the court and it's proven that his mind is really gone, so he will be released. He will not be put into the jail because he is not doing with ego sense that I am doing something. So those who have egoless, then he is a free soul. And that is the point, that slaying and causing to slay are apparently terrible action. But because of the absence of egoism in an enlightened person, even such evil actions do not tarnish them. And an inspiration aspirant tries to be free from egoism while discharging his duty. Oh, sorry, we have done this verse again. Okay, let me go to the verse number 24. 24 on page 143. We have read those two, that 23rd verse we read, the Nainang Chinnanti Shastra, and this, the weapons don't cleave it, but fire does not burn it, the Atman, this water is not wet it, and wind does not dry it. Now, 24th verse on page 143. Accheddo ayam adajho ayam, accheddo ayam adajho ayam, akleddo ashoshayevacha, akleddo ashoshayevacha, nitya sarvagatasthanu, nitya sarvagatasthanu, achalo ayam sanatanaha, achalo ayam sanatanaha. This self is uncleavable, so it cannot be cut, accheddo. Adajyo, it cannot be put to fire, incombustible. Akleddo, it cannot be made wet. Or it cannot be ashosya, it cannot be dried. Nitya, it is eternal, all-pervading. Sarvagata, sthanu, it is stable, it is unchanging. Achalo ayam, immovable. And sanatana, all the time there. Time has no power to tarnish it. So this is the Vedantic concept. We are hearing day and night about this. So it is only to deeply think how it is, it cannot be weighed. Because the water element comes when? When Brahman is covered with Maya and Maya's effect comes, then this creation comes. And in that creation, this air, water, fire, etc. comes. So how that product can impact the source? It is impossible. That's why it cannot dry, it cannot be dried, it cannot be weighted, it cannot be cut to pieces like that. So the indestructible Atman is sought to be described in innumerable ways through varieties of definitions on page 144. Through varieties of definitions and explanations, some big concept of him is formed in mind. So we cannot really think of Brahman. That's also another important point. If anyone could have thought about Brahman and say, I have understood, then you have Brahman, it is no more Brahman then. If it is infinite, then your buddhi becomes Brahman then. Because it is that which perceives, that is powerful than the object perceived. So similarly, it is to be perceived means experienced. So, but to the extent the mind gets purified, we cannot really understand Brahman at all. It is uncleavable, it is indestructible, it cannot be made wet, it cannot be dried. All these talks are only words for us. But it is said, this mind is not catching any glimpse of that. But I have seen sadhus, when they speak about that, their hair stand on out of joy, because they have some glimpse of experience, and that's why these words resonate very deeply into their life. So it is the extent the mind gets purified, here comes the whole spiritual life. To the extent the mind gets purified, cognition of him becomes lucid. These concepts will be really meaning something. It will give some touch of reality then. Purification of the heart. And the cessation of misery is ever in direct proportion to one's being anchored in the self. So how much misery for us? As much we are away from ourselves. How much freedom is there? So much we are close to that Atman. And that Atman or that reality, though appear just a distant, far away from our present state, this will be clearer and clearer and clearer as the mind becomes purer and purer and purer. As the clouds go, today the sky was clouded most of the time. The sun is all the time there. We didn't feel the warmth of the sun and the reflection of the sun's light on the ocean, bringing a beauty there. But as soon as the thickness of the cloud disappeared in certain patches, you see the light there. That means that is the way. When the mind becomes pure, the clarity of understanding will come and direct perception will happen. That's why it is proportionate to our purity of the heart, the cleanliness of the mind. Misery is unwanted state of mind got into through ignorance. No? Misery is unwanted. Yes, we all, who likes misery? Swami Vivekananda said, no? Who loves misery? So it's only those people who are pure in heart, they can welcome misery. Let misery come. What it will do to me? Misery is only a weak mind's or ignorant mind's play. When the mind becomes awakened, weakness, this mind does not feel. Misery is not misery. It is a source of joy. Rabindranath Tagore says, Dukkher vese eseche bole tomare nahi dori bohe. O Lord, you have appeared before me in the form of misery or in the form of suffering. I will not be frightened with that. I see your face there. As the mother playing with the child. No. If the child knows mother, and the mother, first the baby will be frightened. But if the baby knows it's my mommy, then he will also be smiling. No? So this is the matured child who will understand the play of the Lord going on. He is playing with himself. So misery is an unwanted state of mind got through ignorance. And shreyas is not where misery is. That means when one moves into the purity of the heart, the same suffering is, Holy Mother said, dukkha, misery, Bhagavaner dayar dan, God's gift. Oh my God, who can say that? Dukkha, the suffering, misery, is the gift of God. Misery is gift of God? For whom? So this is the point. That is only those have the purest heart. They can understand. Through the misery we learn more. Through the misery we come in contact with God more. In the days of our fun days, whole day goes away, no? We don't remember God. But when suffering comes, then we come closer to God. Then we remember, oh Lord, what is happening? Please do something. Even we, to just get out of the trouble, we go to God. We are all devotees, so we become closer to it. But I am not saying that misery should come or suffering should come in one's life. But when it comes, a pure soul can perceive it differently and can get the spiritual benefit out of it. The Lord throws light on the glory of Atman in order to cure Arjuna of the despondency meaninglessly assumed by him. Now the verse 25. Abhyakto ayam achinto ayam. Abhyakto ayam achinto ayam. Avikarjo ayam uchyate. Avikarjo ayam uchyate. Tasmat evang viditvainam. Tasmat evang viditvainam. tvainam nanu shochi tumarhasi, nanu shochi tumarhasi. Oh Arjuna, you should not grieve. Understanding this, that this Atman is said to be unmanifested. It cannot manifest totally, because Maya cannot manifest the Atman totally. Maya is product of the Atman. So it is Atman is unabhyakta. Abhyakta means it is bhyakta means manifested. The Atman cannot be manifested in the eyes of people. It is only in the deep contemplation. When people lose their ego and mind and emotion and everything is lost into the Atman, then they understand what is Atman. But who will say they? There is nobody they, there is nobody he, there is nobody she to understand. So in expressed universe you cannot find Brahman, Atman, perfect experience. But it is ayam, this Atman, achinta. You cannot think how much sharp intellect one person may be, but you cannot think of Atman. Our limitation, thought has a limitation. How much we go mental in the Swami Vivekananda said in a poem, as much as you go on riding on your chariot of your intellect, no, this is all the world of creation. You are roaming in the world of duality, not in the realm of infinity. So achinta, it is unthinkable, ayam. Avikarjo, it is unchangeable. Ayam uchyate. Therefore, tam viditva, knowing this, having known this, etam na anushochiti. So you should not grieve for anyone's loss or anyone's birth, anyone's destruction. So Atman, this Atman on page 145, this Atman is said to be unmanifested, unthinkable and immutable. Therefore, knowing it as such, you should not grieve. That is the Atman, it is our Upanishad declares, it is beyond mind, beyond intellect, avang manasa gocharam, mind, tadhavata anyanatte titishtan. Isha Upanishad says, the mind is the fastest thing in the world, no? If mind wants to compete with the Atman, suppose two things are there, it says if mind moves, the fastest thing, mind, if it goes, before he reaches any point, he finds Atman is already there. That means Atman is everywhere. If mind is not, even the biggest tool of measurement or fastest running thing in the world, more than the light speed and more than whatever speed has come out, I do not know. But Atman cannot be measured by that speed of light even, speed of mind also. So that's why it is beyond understanding of the mind. And Atman cannot be perceived by any of the senses. And whatever does not come within the ken of the senses is necessarily unmanifested. Whatever comes within the perception, that is our sense world, and which does not appear before my senses, or my mind cannot grab it, then it is called unmanifest. As today's science, they are doing so many research. As much has come out, that is called the knowledge. But more unmanifest truth is there in every field of science. Say neuroscience, they are studying. They have come out to so much of knowledge, but there is something yet to know. That is called the unmanifest. So this unmanifest is infinite, because unmanifest means mind cannot fathom it, mind cannot detect it, the intellect cannot grasp it. So this concept is given. It is very hard to conceive of a thing that cannot be perceived. Therefore, to perceive, there should be, if the senses are not catching it, mind cannot catch it, no instrument cannot catch it. So we cannot have any concept about that. Therefore, my Atman is therefore said to be unthinkable. It is beyond thought, because whatever we think, it takes the help of the senses, sense organs, mind, and with the help of mind, The Atman's light falls on the mind and mind measures it. But it is impossible, that much which is unmanifest, that's why unthinkable. The four elements, air, fire, water, earth, can be sensed. They are seen to be undergoing modifications. As such, they are mutable. But the element, Akasha, undergoes no modification. It is ever in its original state. Like Akasha, Atman is ever in its original state. It is therefore said to be immutable. Elemental Akasha is insentient, and Atman or Chidakasha is sentient. In every other respect, they are identical. Both being partless, they remain immutable. So there are two Akashas they are talking. Among the five elements, air, water, fire, space. Space is the finest. Space cannot be imagined by the mind even. Mind cannot understand how big is the space. And if space cannot be understood, what the question of Atman, which is the background of the space. So, like Akasha, the Atman is always ever in its original state. Therefore, it is immutable. And this Akasha, there is another Akasha, they say, the four Akasha, Mahakasha, Chittakasha, Chidakasha, Nirakasha. Among the space, these are fine division, they are described this way. Mahakasha is this space. You are sitting there, I am here in this interspace. The stars and the stars, the galaxy to galaxy, every planet to planet, the distance between them. So this is the space. How big is that space? We cannot conceive that. This is the Mahakasha. Then comes your Chittakasha, a final level, mental space, much expanded dimension. Then comes Chidakasha, the space of consciousness. You are saying consciousness. Then another space, which is called Ni-Akasha. You cannot say Akasha even, space. Ni means no. There is nothing. And there is nothing or something. That's why Akasha, Chit Akasha, Nirakasha. So this Akasha in its Nirakasha is the Atman. That is Brahman. That cannot be perceived in any way. There is no instrument, no tools. Nobody has done that. Then how these books are written? Ramakrishna went to Nirakasha. But when it comes back to Chidakasha, and coming back to Chidakasha, he says, I will drink water, trying to say like that. He said 10, it comes down so much, and then he can speak a single word. So coming down to that level, he is expressing, I will drink water, I will do this little bit desire, and come down. So who will speak what is there in the Nir-Akasha, the state of Nir-Akasha? Ramakrishna said here, what is Brahman like? It cannot be defined with words. One may be called upon to explain what the ocean is like to a person who has never seen it. The expounder can at best say it is vast sheet of water. Defining Brahman is much more difficult. So Brahman cannot be said. The Upanishad always says Brahman cannot be expressed in any way. Now these are spiritual sense. Brahman is beyond, so there is nothing, there is no birth, there is nothing lost, there is nothing to cry for, nothing to feel bad about it, nothing is there. Therefore, now come to the materialistic plane, in the physical plane in which we live. This verse is there. Now, atha chaitang nitya jatam, atha chainam nitya jatam, nityang va manyase mritam, nityang va manyase mritam, tathapi tvang mahabaho, nainam shochi tumarhasi, nainam shochi tumarhasi. Now, for instance, if you don't accept this philosophy of non-dual reality, which is transcendental reality, beyond time, space, beyond your mind, beyond the senses, what Krishna told about. Sri Krishna says, now come down to a level of this apparent world in which you live. From that standpoint also, you cannot, athacha enam, now if you enam this Atman, this self, you think that nitya jatam, it is constantly getting born. Nityam, constantly, mannase mritam, this Atman is born and dead. If you think in this way also, therefore also you should not grieve sochitum arhasi. If you conceive the Atman as given to constant births and deaths, suppose you understand, think this way, that Atman is born this way, Atman is born that way, Atman will die that way. So if you think that way, therefore also you should not be sorrowful. That is, there is nothing permanent from that standpoint. So why you are crying? It is an inevitable thing, birth and death. If you say Atman is born, Atman is dead. Literally that should not bother you, because it is a change and you are in the middle of this change. How can you stop the change? So you should not grieve for that also. That there is nothing permanent is the view of this materialistic philosophy. The Lord now takes the standpoint of inquiry, granting that this view is true. Even then there is no ground for grieving. A man being given to theism, atheism, agnosticism, materialism, or any other belief is not of much consequence. Irrespective of his creed, he must be free from sorrowing. It is despondency that takes away all meaningless manliness from man. Even live in the world, it makes us weak. It does not solve any problem of ours. Rather, it makes us weak, and it becomes more vulnerable and miserably live. Rather, okay, be bold, I will die. It has been born, it will die. Okay. Sickness has come, it will be cured. If it does not cure, okay, with the sickness I will die. So if one can say that, see how much boldness can come from materialistic standpoint. And this same argument is given in the verse number 27. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrittu, Yatasya hi dhruvo mrittu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, tasmad apariharje arthe, tasmad apariharje arthe, nattam shochitum arhasi, nattam shochitum arhasi. Now if you consider inevitability, that it is inevitable. Look at the world. Who was born and who never died? Find out one person. Everyone is born, is subject to death. You put a plant, it grows, it will grow into a big tree, it will die one day. A person, a boy, a girl born and grow, a time will come, 100 years, 110 years, 120 years. Yogis live 300 years, 500 years. That's also years. We'll have to die. So, inevitable, you consider this is inevitable, then why are you worried about it? Let it go. Let it happen. You take care, but whatever happens, happens. One should not grieve. It's a question of grieving is the question here. Feeling helpless and feeling really lost. So that is the Gita's idea. Live like a warrior. So long you have the strength, go on fight. And die. If you die, you will be going to heaven automatically because you have fought right cause. And you did your duties perfectly. And if you win, then you win a good health. Be a king, you will be a king. Or Arjuna, you will be a king if you win the game. If you don't win, you will go straight to God. And the death for a warrior is the reward, is that. It will take you to heaven. So that's the idea. So death is certain of that which is born. Birth is certain of that which is dead. You should not therefore lament over what is inevitable. And the note is said, when a body fails to function properly, it disintegrates. and undergoes the modification what is called death. But other bodies crop up from the same modified matter. They contain inherent propelling forces, calling desire, which drives them on to the activities of the life. But then I want something, I am in the body, and the body is like a vehicle helping me to gain, to reach that goal. It is an instrument, and in this process it gets wear and tear. You purchase a new Mercedes Benz, it will go, it will be good service, it will give intention, take me here, take me there, you drive here, you drive there, and ultimately it gets wear and tear, wear and tear, wear and tear, and it will one day a situation will come, you cannot keep it, so you have to abandon. So this is the vehicle. It is happening like that. Take it this way, use it that way, and that try to repair and put correction into it. And if when it becomes impossible to do anything, just give up. So you should not cry. A school of nihilism believes in an individual retaining his individuality as long as the motive power of karma lasts. His individuality continues through birth and death. The exhausting of his karma is like the end of oil in burning lamp. The flame then becomes extinct. Even so, a man ceases to be when his karma comes to an end. So another school of atheism holds on to the view that a man's assuming a body and then annihilating it is a matter of course in nature. Even a lump of clay in a river continues to change its form and shape. Changes of form are called births and deaths. Mourning over this modification is meaningless according to this school of thought. So he has given some philosophical thoughts are there of different ideas that this body will perish. So not to feel that the body, death means I die. That concept is to be. He is giving all types of argument from different angle so that this conviction comes that body dies, but the Atman not. And with the death of the body, the suffering of the body, I don't have anything to lose or anything to gain. So how to go back to that awareness? These are all attempts. Okay, so I can end here. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat, Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.